Do we have to call Dawn?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And we'll start with the roll call.
Sure. Stacy Lagenthal, Kathy Bauer,
Here.
Don Sagliani.
All right. And we have the approval of the minutes from October 2nd, 2019. Did everyone get a chance to review those?
So moved?
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. And we have the 2019 audit on the IDA for clarification. So we have Linda here from our external auditors, RVT. Linda, do you want to start?
Sure, thank you. So first I wanted to say thank you to both Sarah and Marilyn for, again, being very cooperative with our audit team. It consisted of Jessica McMahon and Dan Ziegler, who worked on the audit this year. It went very well, and we want to thank you. So we have two documents related to the audit. One is the audited financial statements themselves and what we call our board report. So I'm going to briefly take you through the board report first before we address the financial statements. And that's this document here. And briefly, there's a cover letter, and then it goes into what we call our required communications, which generally say that we did not have any issues in conducting the audit. There was one minor GASB statement that was implemented this year. I say minor because it only pertained to changing the wording about your conduit debt in the footnotes. So it was a change, but very minor change. It was disagreements with management. It went well. We did propose one entry this year, and it actually became a prior period adjustment to adjust for an expenditure that you have had reoccurring for the past few years, but to put it in the proper time frame in terms of the end of the year balance, that there really should have been a liability at the end of the prior year. So in there also is a copy of the original arrangement letter and the draft representation letter, which would be signed once all the reports are finally approved. Okay. There are no findings, just as a reminder. No findings, which is great. Then we'll move on to are there any questions before I move on?
No, and maybe for the purposes of the minutes and the record, we did have this in advance. So we've already read all of it. So it looks like we're going through it very quickly, but we've actually already read all of it.
Okay, thank you. So then we'll move on to the actual financial statements. And pages 1 and 2 is our auditor's opinion, which states that the financial statements are prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles and are fairly stated. The second section is what we call our management's discussion and analysis. There's tables that provide a comparison between last year and this year. There also there's commentary provided by management that talks about the projects that were done this year. And then we'll move on to the actual financials. It starts on page 6. Yes.
So, to the currently known facts and decisions,
Yes.
I'm going to send to you a revised to add on. Is that in 2018, the board approved the IBM sales tax pilot agreement, but in 2019, IBM chose not to go through with that agreement. So as a result, that's the change in, that explains the change in net position of 1.6 is because of the arrangement. And so I just wanted to add that description so that people can see.
I think that'll be clearer for the people
Who don't know. Right.
that we're providing it to.
Okay, I will look for that.
Linda, does that go there or does it go in the footnotes to the statement?
In this particular case, this is an explanation of the results of operations, so it's very appropriate to be put in the MD&A. couple of things, because it's generally written a little simpler for more.
Layman's terms?
Yeah, I say that with quotes because it still has some technical language, but I think probably.
And when we send our financial statements, does that go with it?
Yes, this is the financial statements, and they actually get attached to your Paris report when that's filed.
Okay. That section is new for me.
The MD&A?
Yeah.
Yes, you may not see it, it's like in.
Or I don't see it in another,
Right.
okay, sorry.
No, that's fine, absolutely fine. So then let's look at on page 6 is the statements of net position, also. Business world is your balance sheet, and you'll see that your total assets have hardly changed at all from one year. We're 4.4 million in 18 and 4.4 million in 19. You'll also see that your net position has decreased, and that's what Sarah was alluding to a few moments ago. And so that's more laid out in more detail on page 7, which are the statements of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. And where we're showing the decrease. And I'm presuming that's not anticipated to happen again.
Yeah.
Okay. Page 8 is the statement of cash flows and shows this changes in cash from one year to the next. That's really self-explanatory. And lastly are the footnotes, pages 9 through 11, that describe the basis of accounting, the nature of the IDA, the nature of the conduit debt, which some people are not clear about, description of the prior period adjustment, and a brief discussion about the reporting standards. The supplementary information, we were still looking for a couple of pieces of information, which depended on others to get, so it makes it difficult. And this information corresponds with what's also in the Paris report. Our last report is our report required by governmental auditing standards. It says that we have no findings.
If you have any other questions?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, no, I don't either. Thank you.
And I want to say Jessica and Dan were great to work with.
Great.
RBC is great.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's very smoothly. I love it.
Yeah.
It's quick, it's easy, and we're out.
Yeah, especially with the uploading of the documents
Yeah.
beforehand.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Good. I'll pass that
really
along to our
helps.
IT department because they're the kind of coordinated all of that.
Yeah.
Everything is sent securely over a share file.
Yeah.
Do we have any old business? New business? No? Okay, I'll adjourn this meeting. What?
We have to recommend this goes to the board for
Okay.
approval.
I'll make a motion to recommend this goes to the board.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then I'll adjourn this meeting.
Wait,